So this is kind of an odd video for me, but there is, I'm all about animals. My channel name is Passion for Pets. I do have, in general, a passion for animals. I am a big animal lover. I can't hunt. I have nothing against people who do, but I don't have the heart to go out there and kill something. There are people out there who raise animals on farms, who raise them for slaughter, for meat for us to eat. More power to them. I personally can't do it. The reason I am making this video is because I got some backlash from my own family. So my family, not my husband. Thank the Lord, my husband is supportive. My kids are supportive. They're like, if that's something that you want to do, you go for it. You do you. In this particular case, it is my mother and my sister who are coming at me. And they don't watch my YouTube videos. They don't even know I have a YouTube channel, so I'm safe to talk about this. But they know I'm an animal lover, and I've always been an animal lover, and they are now having a big issue over the fact that I breed mice for feeders. It is a controversial topic. If you look it up on the internet, there's going to be pros and cons, why feeding live is better or why feeding frozen is better. I'm not going to put up all the statistics and everything and all the pros and all the cons and all of that. I'll let you guys do that. I'm having a bad day with my anxiety and my emotions, because your family is somebody who you should be able to count on. And, I had posted on my Facebook page that I had feeders for sale, and that's where my family saw it. Otherwise, they wouldn't know. They don't even know I have half the animals that I have, because I would get backlash. They like to share their opinions. And I love my family to death. Don't get me wrong. I love them to death. I just wish that I could have a better relationship with them, because, it's hard on me to always feel like I'm going to be criticized for a decision I've made in whatever, like getting this pet or getting that pet or buying this, or, things that I cook for dinner, or, whatever. I get criticized. And my husband swears that that's where I get my anxiety from, is constantly being criticized by my family. My dad is very quiet, so it doesn't come from my dad. It comes from my mother or my sister. They're two peas in a pod. I love them. Again, don't get me wrong, I love them. I want to feel close to them. But I feel like a black sheep because they don't agree with the things that I do. I would get all kinds of opinions about the fact that I have a YouTube channel and I'm wasting my time. I would get, criticized and lots of opinions over the amount of pets that I have. They already think, every time I got, when we had one dog, I got criticized over that. When we had no pets, other than that, I got criticized when I got another cat. I got criticized when we got another dog. Oh, I heard about when the rats came in. Why do you have so many fish tanks? Why are you wasting your money on that? Put this toward your money towards what you need. They don't know about my other animals. They only know about the mouse breeding because I posted it on Facebook, because I need a way to be able to advertise that I have mice for sale. So they saw the posts, and my husband did recommend that I hide them from being able to see my posts, but I was like, eh. And he was right, I should have, because they're acting like I'm murdering people. You're an animal lover, why would you take part in the torture of, they may be mice, but one animal's life is not more valuable than another. The animals that are raised for slaughter are killed humanely, even when they're frozen, like pre-killed to feed frozen. It's done humanely, which I don't necessarily know about that. It probably isn't in all cases. But and people shouldn't own animals that need to eat live food in the first place. And I've had my feelings on that. Like, if I had a snake, I wouldn't be able to feed live. That's just me. I would feed frozen. There is a con for feeding frozen, that nutrients aren't as good in something that is being stored for later, frozen and stored for later. It's not as good as fresh. But I wouldn't be able to personally feed live. Yes, I'm breeding them. I'm breeding live animals, live mice for feeders, but I'm not doing the feeding. I try not to. It is hard for me. They're adorable. I'm enjoying the experience of raising them. Once they leave my possession, I try not to think about what's happening to them. I work in a pet store where we have feeders. I see the rats getting sold for feeders all the time. All of my rats are feeders that I've saved. So they can't understand why I would choose to. This mouse's life isn't as important as the fact that I have these rats that I don't want to see die. Or I might as well just raise fluffy baby bunnies and feed them, you know. They've got an opinion about this, and they weren't gentle. And they're acting like why would you want to take part in torturing animals for a few bucks? And it's been really disheartening, and, you know, apparently if I feel bad about what's going on, then maybe I need to rethink what I'm doing. But it's not that I feel bad about what I'm doing, it's that I feel bad about how my family is viewing me, and that I'm less of a person and I'm not as good of a person because I'm okay with doing this. I didn't know if I'd be able to. I am an animal lover. I love those little mice. You know, they don't live very long in the first place. They only have about a 2-year lifespan. So they're considered adults when they're technically still babies. But reptiles do need to eat, and there are, like it or not, there are reptiles in captivity that need to eat. And some of them you cannot feed thawed to. Sorry, the dog's outside. Some of them you can't feed frozen thawed to. If they're hungry enough, they will eat, sure. But sometimes transitioning them from live to frozen is very tricky. In some cases, from what I have researched, you gotta actually expose sorry for the graphics, you actually have to expose the brain or expose the organs to entice the reptile. Are you gonna be okay with doing that as opposed to feeding live? Do you want to dig apart this animal so that your snake is gonna want to eat it? I don't want to dig it apart. I don't want to dissect it so that the snake is gonna like it. And honestly, you know, the bigger distribution places where you get mice, I don't know what those people are feeding them. I don't know if they're healthy, if they've got any diseases. We lose mice. Pet stores lose feeders are dying while they're there waiting to sell. My mice are healthy. I know what I'm feeding them, therefore the people that are getting them from me know that what they're being fed. That is a plus. They can be comfortable in where they're getting their mice from rather than a second party. I have a friend that got a couple of mice for me in the last couple of days. She said she got one from a pet store, and the color of its poop was concerning for her. She didn't know if the mouse was healthy. My mice never poop that color, so I'm like, well, they're, you know, mine are fine. It's not like I've never had mouse losses. Their age is going to be a factor. Sometimes there's going to be a respiratory problem, but they're prone to that. And sometimes they die when they're born. You know, I've had pinkies die. But that's a natural selection thing. That's what happens. That's why they have the litters that they do, why they can get pregnant so often, why they have so many, because there will be deaths. But overall, my mice are healthy. I don't know. This is, I guess, a rant video, because this is what I've been dealing with since last night. And of course, my mother said, don't post something controversial on Facebook if you're gonna have to expect responses, expect, opinions. And I'm like, and that's fine, but not one person had a negative opinion towards my post except my family. Why can't my family? If you don't have to agree with it, but you don't have to be so forceful in your opinion either and make me feel like I've just murdered a human being. Oh, they're being pre-killed. At least they're being killed humanely. They're being tortured if they're being eaten alive. Well, what makes the animals in the wild less than because they don't get the privilege of being pre-killed humanely first. I have had my feelings of putting a live mouse or a live rat in with a snake in an enclosure where they can't get away. They don't stand a chance. I've had my feelings about that. That bothers me. But what else is there to do? And I don't have the capabilities of killing humanely unless I go outside and take my perfectly healthy mouse and smack it against the wall and kill it instantly, and I can't do that either. So I don't have to partake in it at all. This is true. But at the same time, it has been a really cool experience raising these mice, having the experience of watching the mothers give birth, take care of them, watching the babies grow. That is all a part of the experience too. But yeah, I've just been having a really rough morning. I've had to stop messaging my mother because I just feel like, and she was like, well, over messages it's hard because you can insert a tone of voice that isn't really there. And I'm like, oh, the thing is, I've had disagreements with them in person. The tone of voice is there. I'm not imagining the tone of voice. My mother is upset that we don't video message as much anymore than we used to. And I thought in my head, what am I supposed to talk about? Because a lot of my interests, they have no interest in. I remember when I had I have a couple of snails now, my bigger apple snails. But when I had a pile of ram's horn snails and I was all excited about this and that and this and that, and I would talk about it, she was like, I don't need to hear about this. It's not interesting to me. Okay, well then again, what are we supposed to talk about? Animals are my interest. It doesn't matter what kind of animal. She's got a dog. So what are we supposed to talk about? I want to be able to talk with my family. I want to be able to share my interests. But if I do that and then I get criticized, that makes me not want to. Yeah, so, my family knows that we have 2 dogs and a cat. They know we have fish. They do not know that I have a guinea pig. They do not know that I have a rabbit. They do not know that I have hermit crabs. They do not know that I have a Pac-Man frog. They do know about the rats. They don't know how many. Last count they knew back in the summer we had 6. We have more than that now. They don't know about it. And they only know about the mice now because I posted it on Facebook. But from here on out, I am blocking them from seeing those particular posts. And I shouldn't feel like I have to do that with my own family. But, it is a controversial issue, this live feeding thing. And I have my feelings about it, and I'm not 100% okay with it either. But I do know that snakes need to eat when they're pets, and I do know that there's a shortage. and I'm not making buku bucks out of it. Buku bucks, however you say that. But it's also, part of it is the experience of raising them. And then knowing that I can offer people healthy mice, you know. So far, I've got a friend that's buying from me. I've sold to a coworker. I'm gonna get ready to be selling to another friend who I just found out today has 2 snakes. You know, they're gonna get healthy mice. And they're gonna actually get adults that look like adults. And not like some stores where the adults are still hoppers. You know, and customers complain. So, I mean, it's not the store's fault, it's what they're being sent. But my whole point is, at least people don't have to go to a second party to get that feeder when they can go directly to the person that they know personally or whatever. I don't know. I'm just rambling because I've just been upset today. And I have to let what they say roll off my back. But, you know, when your family seems like they're against everything that you do, every decision that you make, you know, because it's not something they would do, it really weighs on you after a while, and it's upsetting. So, but yeah, so that's my topic for today, the controversial issue of feeding live rodents to snakes. And what I am currently dealing with my own family over it. So, I mean, I was on a panel earlier today, and I'm sorry I was so distracted. I was on this panel, and I really wasn't paying too close attention to what was going on, because while I was on the panel, my mother was messaging me about this, and I was getting upset. But, yeah. Ridiculous. So, there's that for today. Sorry this is longer than I expected. You don't have to watch it all. If you want to watch it all, great. If you don't, that's fine too. But yeah. So, hope everybody has a good day. Bye.